Okay, I'll go back to when I was in first grade. I started uh, first grade at St. Mary's in Storm Lake, and it was I wasn't afraid to go to school or anything. Um, we had first and second grade in the same room, and it was time for the second graders to receive First Holy Communion. So I was asked to be an angel. And the job of an angel, there would be four of us, and we were supposed to hold the altar veil. So when the second graders came up to receive Jesus, they would kneel on the top step, and this veil would be under their chin, so in case any of the sacred host would drop, it would drop onto the altar veil. So, and and the day that I got dressed, or we got dressed, we went over to the rectory, and my sister was the housekeeper for the priests. So that's a big memory in my life, because I could go over there after school, and she would always have a treat for me or something that I could take home to my family. Or if I stayed overnight, then I would get to take a bath, which was not a very common thing for us because we didn't have a bathtub. So anyway, but that day, uh, all four of us who were angels, who were chosen to be angels, we had little gowns and we had wings, but those wings were put on us and they had wires. And so by the end of the First Communion Mass and the pictures and all the stuff, you were kind of wounded by those wires. So anyway, that was a big part of my uh, first grade experience, because girls were not allowed to go inside the altar rail. And that was something that later on, when my brothers were altar servers, and we lived so close to church, and most of the kids were farmers, so who was going to serve Mass every day but my two brothers. And I would get up and I would go along with them. But it was always hurtful to me because I couldn't go in with them inside the altar railing. So that didn't make me very happy. So anyway, I figured I'm going to go upstairs where the choir would gather to sing, but not during the week. And sister would be playing the organ, and I started singing with her, which it was okay with her. So anyway, that's where I first saw Ron Schuler down with his grandparents, and I don't know, I must have been third or fourth grade at that time. But I didn't meet him or anything like that. I just saw him with his grandparents. Natalie and Clem DeMars was their name, and they only lived a block away from church. So anyway, that's what I did, and and I made my first Holy Communion, and I was able to go inside the altar rail, but not otherwise. But sister would also take me with her when she would change the flowers or the altar veiling, whatever needed to be cleaned up. But she wore white gloves when she worked, and she'd bring me the dead flowers, and I'd hand her the fresh ones or whatever she needed. So that's a big memory in my growing up. And then I get into high school, and each one of these classrooms held 2 grades: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. And then high school was upstairs. So that was this Catholic school that I grew up in. And in high school, I don't know what to tell you, it's just normal stuff. But as a sophomore, I was asked to be a cheerleader. And so I was, and that was the big thing, because we didn't have any other kind of sports. Basketball was the only thing that the boys had. So I was a cheerleader in 10th grade, and I was elected as a cheerleader. The student body voted, and so as a junior, I was also a cheerleader. And we had games away from home, or home games were held in the Storm Lake High School gym. And then after the game, we would have a dance. If it was a home game, we'd have a dance in the cafeteria or the lunchroom of St. Mary's. So that was the activities that we had. And I did work at Lake Theater. I was the popcorn queen. I made the popcorn before the movie and sold it during the movie, and had to clean it up. And on Saturday, I had to clean the whole popcorn machine before I made fresh popcorn. So that's a big deal. And I also detasseled corn. It usually started in August, and it went for probably 3 weeks. So that was money that I was earning so I could buy my clothes and have spending money. I don't know what other kind of money there is besides spending money, because you're going to spend it anyway. You're supposed to laugh.
He was laughing.
Anyway, so that's what I did. And when I was a junior, the basketball team won enough games so that we were able to go to Sioux City to do the playoffs. And the two, I don't know if we were the worst two. We played each other, and we lost. St. Mary's lost. I don't remember who we played, but we lost. So we had a basketball banquet, and I got a trophy for being a cheerleader for that year. And we were the Panthers, St. Mary's Black Panthers. And I have this statue of a Black Panther that I painted with black paint. Anyway, I had that and my trophy as a remembrance of being a cheerleader. And so then I graduated next year, and we went to Omaha for our skip day. And we went to Boys Town. That was one of the places that we went and toured, and I don't remember any other place that we toured, but we were able to have a dinner in this restaurant. And if you ever saw 12 young people staring at this thing in the bar, we had never seen it before. It was a television.
Wow.
Black and white television, and we were all just staring at it. But that was another big thing in my life, my first experience with a television. So that's mostly the highlights of my school years, which, I don't know.
Did you have a favorite subject in school?
Well, I really liked math after my brother Joe helped me. Maybe you've got this on part of the other. But I was named Morita after Sister Morita, who was my older sister's teacher when they were in St. Mary's. And so when I get into high school, who should come and be my math teacher but Sister Morita? And she could not understand why I couldn't catch on to what she's teaching. And she's saying, why can't you be like your sisters? Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, it's very, very frustrating to be compared with your siblings. So when Joe came home, he was in Loras, in Dubuque, Loras College, and he came home for Christmas vacation. And I just said, Joe, I cannot understand this, whatever, it might have been trigonometry, I don't remember what it was, but I just can't understand it. He sat down with me and he just explained it in his loving way, and I caught on. So anyway, I go back in January after the Christmas break, and Sister Morita could not understand how I could have understood it. And it's because he didn't compare me with my sisters. But that, I think, probably math was my favorite subject. I didn't like English, I didn't like geography, history, science. I didn't like any of those subjects, but math, Joe did a tremendous job. So that's.
So who was your best friend in high school?
It was Helen, and it was Helen Connell at the time. And she married Ernie Bosley.
And did you meet her in high school, or did you meet her when you were in
we
grade school?
were in first grade together. She was an angel also. So, I knew her all throughout my growing years, but she was a farmer. So you just didn't get together, because they were needed. They had to go home right away. The parents were waiting 4 o'clock to pick their kids up to get them home to put them to work.
Doing
chores, yeah. And she and I both worked for Odie's restaurant. And she would stay with her cousin, who was also Ron Schuler's cousin, because her mother's sister married Flora's brothers. Anyway, they got married, so those cousins, they had cousins together, but they weren't cousins.
I see, that makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, and I also worked for the root beer drive-in to make money, because I needed this money to go to Omaha and go to this business school. And I went, it was a 9-month course. So I think you got that.
Yeah, we had that on the previous table.
Yeah. So is that enough?
Yeah, that's good. Very interesting, Mom. Thank you so much.
Yeah.